Nagaraj was smiling when Dan said they're not going to announce a captain, because Nagaraj is waiting every minute, checking his phone, because they may well announce a captain. But what if they don't, Naga? What if they actually...
They better not. This run order will be a flop show.
So who will captain RCB? Let's have this discussion again, shall we? We know what the squad looks like. We know who the candidates are. There's candidate number 1, Glenn Maxwell, but he's not available for the start of the tournament. There's candidate number 2, Faf du Plessis, doesn't have much success as captain in the IPL or much history as captaincy in the IPL, but he's still at the peak of his powers if last season is anything to go by. Let's check with our panel. Dan Vittori is here. GS is wearing red for this chat. Dustin Salgado, Nagaraj, and Soumya returns after a long hiatus and absence from run order. So let's go to the man who's made such decisions in the past. No, he's not, because Kohli was captain when he was there. Could he be captain again, Dan?
No. I think it's as simple as that. I think they'll look at Kohli, Faf, and Maxwell as I suppose the supposed leadership group, and maybe even Dinesh Karthik. And I think Faf will step in for Maxwell. But if they win the first 3 games, maybe they'll continue on with him.
GS, have combination captains worked ever?
Not really, but personally, I would go with Maxwell. We saw what happened with KKR in, I think, 2009 when they had like multiple captains or captain outside the field. I don't think RCB are going to go in that route.
You're taking us to 2009. I just like to point that out, right?
Yeah. I don't think RCB are going to go that route for sure. Maxwell would be my ideal candidate, but let's see what happens. I think Maxwell should, even if he doesn't start, maybe like Dan said, maybe Faf for a couple of games and then Maxwell takes over. Maxwell's had some success, by the way, when he was the captain of Punjab, and that was 1 year when they actually did pretty well and they came just 1 match away from the playoffs. So, and he's been successful at Melbourne Stars, so why not give Maxwell another go, and hopefully his batting comes through.
Nagaraj was smiling when Dan said they're not going to announce a captain, because Nagaraj is waiting every minute, checking his phone, because they may well announce a captain. But what if they don't, Naga? What if they actually...
They better not. This run order will be a flop show. Better not, yeah. What they should do is they should just ask the fans as the trend goes. Ask the fans and keep us guessing. But yeah, I agree with GS. Maxi is the best, but considering that, I think he might need to ask his going-to-be wife whether she will marry him if he becomes the captain or not, because that's the reason of the delay, right? What you want in a captain is more like someone who can rev up the energy, and RCB is a team that has been looking for a title forever, despite having the most intense individual at the top for a long time. The key thing for Maxi, I think, is age. He's 33, Faf is 37, going to be 38 this year. So what do? They still
won't be the oldest captain in the IPL, but yes.
Yeah, I mean.
It
won't be, yeah. That's the choice, long term or short term.
I was just curious, wouldn't the fact that Faf is basically only playing T20 franchise cricket now help, in the sense that he won't have any other distractions really? His entire focus will be pretty much on the IPL and whatever other franchise cricket he's playing.
Unfortunately, there's no standout name. I mean, of course, the four people we have mentioned so far, Kohli out of that. So it's Maxwell, du Plessis, and Karthik. I don't think Karthik is going there. And, none of them really stand out for me. Of course, Maxwell's done it with Stars. He's led Punjab Kings. We all know that, but he's not starting. And, Gaurav is the stats man. He'd be able to tell us. I don't think Maxwell's had 2 successive good seasons with the bat, and in the IPL, and you want to fit in a foreigner, an overseas player, one of those 4 slots as captain. I don't like the idea of that. Du Plessis, therefore, becomes perhaps the best choice. They went after him in the auctions. Maxwell was, of course, retained. So he might have been targeted by the RCB think tank. Because they want him as captain. That's the impression I got.
Okay. We don't have any left field candidates. Dinesh Karthik isn't left anymore. He's captain enough. But we once recommended Yuzvendra Chahal as a potential captain before the auction happened. Do we have any takers for a Siraj as captain, Hasaranga as captain, Harshal Patel as captain? Any of that, Dan? Nonsense.
No. It's not feasible. It's those 2 guys you mentioned, and I think Maxwell's is a short and long term. I think 3 years, as we've talked about before, is a long time in the IPL, and I think they'll look at that as Maxwell as a 3-year cycle, and hopefully he continues to play as he did in the last IPL, and they'll factor that in, that he will be the leader for 3 years.
Okay, would you, if you were in the RCB management, have a word with Kohli and just sit him down and say, might need a captain for a bit?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that ever works, let alone in franchise cricket or international cricket. I think once the captain has moved on, then I think the right answer is for him to move on. And maybe in a year's time he could step in for one game or something like that.
Okay, let's wrap it up then. How many for Maxwell? Let's take a vote. Is this how they do it in auctions, in tables? Is there written teams? 1, 2, 3, 4 for Maxwell. How many for Faf? 1. What are you doing? 2. What? Now did you put your hand?
Yeah, you have to go on your phone if you want to make a decision. Ring the owner.
My last argument.
Yes, that's my last argument.
No, my last argument for Faf would be that he's got quite a bit of experience doing apologetic press conferences. So that might be of help considering it's RCB.
I'm not having it. Anyway, the CSK fans anyway send me letters. I've got the RCB fans on that list too now. Dan Vittori still gets hate, so let's leave it, even though he's not on. It looks like we've got we've got a vote in favor of Maxi until he gets here, and Faf du Plessis in the meantime. This was fun. Thank you, Dan Vittori, Naga, Shomya, Dustin, Gaurav.